Ashton Ryan took just a few years to build First NBC Bank into a banking power, but his downfall has been years in the making. Late Friday night, Ryan was indicted on 44 counts of conspiracy and bank fraud. Eyewitness investigator David Hammer looks at some of the failed business projects left in the wake of the largest bank failure in Louisiana history.
The federal indictment of Ashton Ryan Jr. on bank fraud charges focused on 6 co-conspirators who made off with $250 million in loans. But the impact of Ryan's alleged fraud at First NBC Bank went well beyond that.
It impacted people who were in business with the bank. It also impacted people who worked for the bank. I mean, it had huge ramifications.
Look at the case of St. Teresa Specialty Hospital in Kenner. The Lilsenbergs family had tried to open a nursing home in Kenner for decades, but couldn't make it work. They finally opened St. Teresa's for long-term acute care, thanks to $40 million in loans approved personally by Ryan. In a 2018 lawsuit, the Lilsenbergs say they knew they couldn't make payments, but Ryan kept lending them more money, sometimes without their consent.
And it alleged that Mr. Ryan misled the Lilsenbergs, took advantage of them, told them that their collateral would cover their loans when in fact, according to at least their allegations, they were far from being able to collateralize their loans.
Now both First NBC Bank and St. Teresa's are closed.
Here was an individual who you expected to have a fiduciary duty owed to them as customers of a financial institution, a major financial bank, and instead they believed that they were taken to the cleaners.
The Lilsenbergs' claims are similar to those from the bank's unsecured creditors, and federal prosecutors allege similar schemes in criminal cases. They allege Ryan had a group of borrowers he called the Dorks. He allegedly hid their overdrafts from the bank's board of directors so he could keep lending them more money. Each letter of Dorks stood for a different borrower. Prosecutors say the K stood for Kenneth Charity, a developer who borrowed millions to try to redevelop the Lake Terrace shopping center and other properties. But Charity pleaded guilty to using the money on clothes, cars, and private school tuition instead. Federal court documents show Ryan got exasperated and sent Charity an email saying he should foreclose on him, adding, quote, "You think another bank president would do that for a borrower? On second thought, you may be right. I must be an imbecile." Prosecutors say Ryan went on to lend Charity another $5 million after that. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
Ashton Ryan's defense attorney said last night that Ryan continues to maintain his innocence and will fight the indictment.